Right. All right, guys. I feel like I should give you the time check because I've started to do that because I always do this at the end of the day. So it's 2:09. I think I've got plenty of time to do this, and maybe even part of 34. All right. So we're entering to 33. What's interesting about 33 here is that part of this shows a much shorter section. Other adaptations of Cicero's work have 33 actually ending down here at the fuisse. So we're just going to go with this one that 33 ends here. I'll see if I can get confirmation from IB about how long they'll make this chunk. The Latin stays the same. It's just where do you end the chunk? Okay. But for this little bit, this little manageable piece of 33, let's do it. And I can see why someone would sort of pull this off because this is one giant joke. This is Cicero absolutely making fun of the entire process, not just the court, but of Clodia herself. Keep in mind that the ipsa here is referring to Clodia, but after this ipsa as her, he goes to this ista, okay? And she shows up again as an ista, got ista here. And remember, ista is pejorative. It is the same type of pronoun as ipse, okay? It means she herself, but it's like that one. You know, it's like, well, you know, you could use that one. It's like, oh, or perhaps your mom going, oof, not that one. You know, if you're looking at a dress or a tuxedo, your parental unit might say, ooh, bad choice. All right. So it's that kind of oof notation to that ista that is in fact embedded in every time we use that. Notice that every time he uses ista, istum, or ista, this is all, and the ipsa, the first ipsa here, all referring to Clodia. On a special note, I'm using Ava, let me have, I think, this Sharpie S gel. So I feel like we need to get into some, you know, lighthearted pen review as we get ready, or as we dive into IB exams, which pens are the best. All right. So, but, however, okay, quarum ex ipsa, I will seek, I must seek, I sought from she herself. I have sought from she herself, i.e. Clodia. Okay, prius utrum means whether. Oh God, hold on. Whether. I think that's right. Whether mallet. Now mallet's kind of a weird one because it looks like it comes from like malolo, meaning to not want, but mallet actually means to prefer. So whether she prefers, and now we enter, you see this ding ding verb and the infinitive and the accusative, we enter into indirect statement. Whether she would prefer that I, agire, go with her severely, both forcefully and priscere, and in an old-fashioned way. Again, we talked about that last class about the severity that we ascribe to our ancestors. There's a strict moral rectitude that seems to exist in the past that doesn't exist today. And I'm sure that should any of you have grandchildren or great-grandchildren, they will ascribe the same strict correctness to your generation, okay, that you ascribe to your great-grandparents. So keep that in mind as you guys think about prom, okay? So from she herself, whether I should go, whether she prefers that I go agire with her, secum. Remember, it's reflexive. Severely, harshly, both forcefully, and risque and old-fashioned. Old-fashionedly. I don't know if that's actually an adverb. I'll make it an adverb. We're just going to call it an adverb. All right. So, but however, I must seek, I have sought from that one, whether she might prefer that I go with her harshly, rather severely or forcefully and in an old-fashioned way, or, okay, get a new one, or on, or, and you pick up the mallet, would she prefer that I understood You don't have to repeat it, okay? You just understood that I remise, go relaxed, that I am relaxed. Love how he gives an option like he's gonna be relaxed, both gently and refined. And relaxed, both gently and refined. Okay, refined. I do like the Sharpie S shell. It's very nice. I might try a different pen for the next one, but I do like this one. So he's like, what would she prefer? Does she want me to be severe and harsh, or does she want me to be loose and relaxed? Urbane, city slicker, urbane. We get urbane from it, but it's like refined. And a refined man wouldn't attack a woman, right? Haha. Let's see. He's just pretending that he gives her a choice, because now he says, if with that austere or strict morality, okay, or custom, I suppose to say, if with that stern, let's go stern. Stern's a good word here. Stern custom here meaning like old-fashionedness again. Okay, if with that severe or stern custom. All right, sorry, I had to stop this for a second. All right, if with that stern custom, akmodo just means in this way. And that you could actually do that together. If in this way, with this harsh, stern custom, then, so Cicero's going a little crazy. I'm going to switch out the S gel and I'm going to go to one of my Papermates ink joys. I do love my Papermate ink joys. So we're going to compare now. You guys can let me know too. Is my handwriting better or worse? All right. So if I'm going to be severe with her, aliquis, someone, excitandus est, notice this, the gerundive here, must be raised ad infernus, from the underworld, for me. So he's like, if it's going to be severe, it's not me. Of course, it is him. All right. Someone must be raised from the underworld for me. Okay, so there's your aliquis. Someone, excandus est, must be, I mean, it's very emphatic, must be raised up ab inferis, from the underworld for me. And this person must have this ex barbatus illis, from that bearded type, from that thick bearded type. All right, so you guys are probably like, what the heck? From that thick bearded understood type. What we're meaning here, not from this barbula. Barbula is like from a little beard, not from this like little beard. So he's obviously making fun of this trend. Oh my gosh, beard. All right, so what he's saying is that you must raise up an ancestor from her who has the thick beard. So part of the custom for the Romans, I guess the older Romans, was to have those really gloriously thick beards, like wizard beard, right? Not quite that long, but thick and glorious. And I guess the sign of the times was to have like the little like scaped beard. What do you want to call it? Like manscaped beard, kind of like little chin whatever it is. So he's like, I want someone with a big beard, because the big beard means strict. Of course, he's following stereotypes, and of course, the Romans probably thought that was just as ridiculous 2,000 years ago as we think it's ridiculous now. It's like, what the heck does the beard have to do with it? He's like, I want a thick bearded dude, not one of these little like small bearded dudes. Okay, we're gonna go severe. Let's go all the way. I don't know why I had to go sort of Southern accent on that, but I really felt the thick beard brought it out. All right, which, so in which ista, that feminine one, that Clodia, delector, delights. So apparently he's saying that she likes little beards. I don't even know where to go with that one. So in which that one delights. Okay, so again, it's pejorative. It's all pejorative. And there's something about this little beard that the Romans wouldn't have approved of. Okay, but, okay, so he's like, I need someone to rise up from the grave, from the underworld with this thick beard, not with those little beards which delight her, but illa horrenda, but that bristling, horita means bristling, unkempt, like snaggly beard. I don't know, this one's so weird. But with that unkempt type, all right, of beard of some kind. All right, so that unkempt type of beard, some type of horrible beard, okay? Which, so you go down to the videmos, which we see, so that's the quam, which videmos we see, which we see in statuas antiquas, in old statues, okay? I guess we could say on old statues, on old statues, okay? So on old statues, and imaginibus. Now, imaginibus are very special. They were wax masks. We get images from it. So when one of your ancestors died, you know, an old venerable man who had done many things for his country, typically this wasn't done for women, it was really done for men. So they would take a wax cast of your face and they would make a plaster mold and they would hang that mold or statue or painting, depending on how wealthy you were, in the family shrine, in the lararium. Okay, and these became the lares, the family gods. So when you worship the lares, you were worshiping your ancestral spirits, and you would have those imaginibus. Now, we would have photographs. So perhaps there's a corner of your house that has photographs of your ancestors. Those are our imaginibus, okay? So these types of bristly, rough, unkempt, snaggle-toothy beards were on old statues and on old family shrines, okay? And old pictures of our ancestors. And we can just say images here, okay? You could say masks. Okay, got it? So that imaginibus is important there too, because again, it would have been a death mask, and that would have been very similar to like our family portraiture. So he's calling to mind her ancestors. And I think that's important here because what happens next? All right, so we're going to bring forth this old dude with the scraggly beard who, Obdurat, who might scold mulierum, the woman. All right, Cicero is saying that he's like, oh, I shouldn't do this. Her family has to do this. Her family should chastise her. Well, she's not in the courtroom, so I guess that makes sense. And loquatur pro me, and speak for me. Who will scold the woman and who will speak for me? Okay. And I'm sorry, lest, sorry, nay, here means lest. Lest suscinseat, lest she be angry. Now this takes a dative. Lest she be angry with me by chance. Look at the ista, there she is. Lest that woman be angry with me by chance. All right. So here we go. He's like, ista. All right. Well, she won't be mad at me. It's not me talking. It's her ancestors talking. Of course, it's Cicero talking still. He does not raise the dead, and there is no seance going in this. All right. But he's taking on the persona of one of her ancestors, which is in itself a giant farce. It's completely ridiculous. And even the Romans thought that this was funny. It was supposed to be funny. It's so ridiculous. I don't know why the beard cracks me up every time. Therefore, whoa, therefore, okay, I lost all control of my pen there, but that means therefore. Igitur. Therefore, aliquis excitat, let someone rise up, ex haec ipsa familia, from this family itself. Okay. Let someone rise up from this family itself. Okay. Ac potissimum. And most especially, I think you could just say most especially here. Most especially Okay, most especially that Caicus. I'm gonna talk about Caicus when I do. I'm gonna finish up this, and I'm gonna talk about who he is, especially that one Caicus. By the way, Caicus means blind. Okay, that's going to be important here in just a second. Okay, especially that Caicus one. All right. Indeed, he will be seized. Caput means seized. Indeed. I don't know if you guys can actually read that. I'm going to go to a darker pen. Ooh, hot pink. Indeed, he will seize less grief. He will take less grief. He will take the least, actually minimum is like the very least, the least grief, the least dolorum grief, who, okay, this qui relative clause going back to Caicus, right? Who, videbat non vide, who will not see Issa, who will not see her because she's blind. Okay, who will not see, it means her, but again, Ista, like, will not see her. That, you can almost say that one. All right. So this whole thing to me is just so very, very, very silly. All right. He's like, oh, let me talk to her. Let me ask her, does she want me to go gently or do you want me to go more harshly? If I'm more severe and strict, then I must bring up an ancestor, not a regular ancestor, not one with a little beard, but I want a full bearded ancestor, just like we see on our old statues and images. Okay. She won't, because then she won't get mad at me. She'll get mad at him. Okay. And if we're going to bring forth someone from her audience, let's bring up this guy, the blind one, because he'll be less angry than the others because he can't see her. I mean, this is so ridiculous. Hopefully you guys catch on to the silliness of this. This was very, I don't know. I want to come up with another word other than silly, and all I can think of is silly. All right, let me talk briefly about Caicus here. He was, here, I wrote it down. All right, Appius Claudius Caicus. He was a censor in 312. He was a consul in 307 and 296. Now remember, this is all BC. All right. This trial is happening in 54, I believe 54 BC is the actual date of this trial. I'm pretty sure it's 54, 55. All right, I got to double check that. So this ancestor, Appius Claudius Caicus, is about 240 years before, 250 years, something like that, before this trial. So this is old enough for them to have that rather austere, incredibly serious persona, but within the recent recorded history for the Romans. Okay, he started the Appian Way. He's actually one, that's why it's called Appian Way, and he built Rome's first aqueduct. Right, so this was a major player in Roman politics. Clodia and Clodius, both brother and sister, come from a long line of well-respected, insanely wealthy families. Just insanely. I don't know, Rockefeller comes close, okay? Rockefeller, megabucks wealthy, with that kind of lineage. And with that kind of lineage, there comes a certain, idea that you should uphold the family name. Obviously, Clodius and Clodia fell a little short. At least Cicero says so. So this Caicus here is this Appius Claudius Caicus here. And yes, you do need to know this. That's why I'm telling you who this guy is, okay? He is going to be the one talking in sections 34, 35, and maybe the first part of 36. I think most of 35 is him talking. And basically, Cicero takes on this persona, okay? And is like, you will be, or I don't know what, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, so Appius Claudius Caicus, I left it up here so you guys can write it all down. Censor, consul, started the Appian Way, made Rome's first aqueduct. Okay, I could see that being a great question. Who is Caicus and why is he important? Okay, all right. See, short and sweet, and maybe a little bit of a giggle.